Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be making an 8" by 8" corner panel. I already have my pattern made, and the first thing I have to do is pick out some glass. So let's take a look. Alright, so I have all of my glass picked out. For this panel, I decided to go with the greens and some clears. So next thing we have to do, trace the pattern onto the glass and cut it out. I like to use these Sharpie paint pens to trace my patterns. I find they stick onto the glass pretty good and don't come off easily when cutting or grinding. So let's see. Let's start with this green color. This is pretty textured on the front, so I'm going to want to trace my pattern on the back side. And when you do that, just make sure you flip your pattern piece over. Sometimes it doesn't matter, like this one's a symmetrical piece, so it doesn't really matter. I think this will be dark green, this will be dark green, and this will be dark green. So 4, 7, and 12. Alright, now that all my pattern pieces are traced out on the glass, we can go ahead and cut them. This is a pre-cut beveled square that we'll be using, so that one is good to go. Let's start with So this beetle bit system is really nice for cutting straight edges. I got my small running pliers. This is definitely my least favorite part, because you never know if your score line is going to break nicely or if you're gonna just ruin your whole piece. And I have definitely done that before. Get that nice sound. So with some of the glass, you can kind of break it one side at a time. So you can see I cracked both sides, and then you just pull apart. And then I'll just have to grind down the edges to get close to that line. So I will quickly cut the rest of the pieces and we'll be good. Okay, so I have all of my pieces ready to be foiled. I used my grinder to grind off any sharp edges and to grind some of the curves to make sure they fit nicely. You'll see some spots it's not an exact fit because you'll just fill that with solder and it'll make it stronger anyways. So in the end, I want to put a copper patina on my solder when I'm done. So the foil I'm going to use is copper backed foil. So that way any of the clear pieces. When you look through it, you're just going to see copper all the way. I always keep 3 sizes of foil. I have 3/16, 7/32, and 1/4 inch foil. Sometimes I like thinner lines, sometimes I like thicker lines, or sometimes you need different size foil based on the thickness of your glass. So it's good to have multiple sizes on hand. Alright, so let's get started foiling. You want to make sure that the glass is centered on the foil so that you have equal overhang. That way you're going to get nice, even solder lines. And then go ahead and you can try to match it up at the end, or when you're done you can use an X-Acto knife and trim off any spots that don't line up. And then you're going to want to take something to burnish the foil. You can use a fid, you can use, I think this is a special burnishing wand or something. You can even just use a Sharpie marker, whatever. I prefer this little guy. And then I use this angled part to just fold over my edges. Some people just use their fingers to fold the edges over, but I like to use the tool. And then make sure you burnish the sides also. And then I check, so I don't know if let's see. Come into focus. That's not right. Well, where I lined up the copper, there's a little bit of overhang where I didn't line it up perfectly, so I'm just going to take my razor and just straighten that off. And that side looks good. So 1 down, 13 more to go, and I will speed up this process. moving on, we are ready to solder this corner panel together. I already cut the copper came to put on the border, so that's in there already. And now I have my 60/40 solder. I have my Hecko soldering iron. I have my sal ammoniac bar to clean the tip. I just started using gel flux, and I think I like it better than the liquid flux. I mean, they're interchangeable, you can use both. Personal preference. I haven't used the gel enough to really form a strong opinion, but so far I like it. I have my fume extractor, I have my heat resistant gloves, and it looks like we're ready to go. Okay, my corner panel is clean, ready for the copper patina, but first I need to sand off the solder lines because we want them to be free of oxidation and super shiny. So I've got this copper wool here that I'm going to use. You can use steel wool, but I find it's messier and it leaves behind a lot more little bits. You can also use these brass buddies. This is my first time using copper wool actually. I kind of got it to test it out. And that looks pretty shiny. I feel like I don't really need to scrub too much because the solder looks pretty good already. So pretty. Also, I forgot to put my glove back on.